What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the Bengals 2023 season preview. So we're going to go down through the roster, first looking at the rookies, and then we're also going to be doing every single game of the year, giving a prediction on what their record is going to be. Then in the future, we're going to be putting that with all of our mock drafts, and because PFF allows us to adjust mock draft order, we're actually probably going to develop that into some of our mock drafts in the future before the season really gets kicked off. And it's going to be blended in with all of our other goodies. Like, we're going to bring collabs on. We're going to have people compare their rankings versus mine. It is going to be fun, y'all. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff. I would love for you guys to join the community. We have a great community here. You guys have supported me. I'm doing an internship right now, 40 hours a week, as well as another 2 jobs. So it's been a little hectic, but I want to make some good content for you guys. You guys know me. I'm an OBS type of person. I'm not going to create crap for you guys, and I wanted this to be a fun, informative series. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Let's look right now at the rookies. So this is taken from my grading scale that I already did back when I first graded every single pick from the draft. So if you guys think that is familiar, it is. They got Dax Hill and Cam Taylor Britt. Obviously, it was a very defense-focused group here. Obviously, losing Larry Ogunjobi. Zach Carter is just a weird hybrid type of guy. You definitely have a very intriguing offseason that you guys have had. I believe Chase Winovich went to the Browns. Might be. But you guys have bolstered your defense when your offense has proven to be lethal enough. I still think the offensive line could be improved quite a bit, but you guys have already done that as well. You guys did definitely go after and get some good pieces there. Again, getting the right tackle, Lyle Collins, beautiful move. We'll talk about all of that in just a moment. But again, looking at it, Dax Hill and Cam Taylor Britt, both are very talented players, both fit the scheme pretty well. I would just say Dax Hill is a little bit more of a question mark. Again, he was a slot corner last year. Obviously, he's probably going to be playing a safety role, but again, for a first round pick, it's a little bit hard to understand where he's exactly going to fit. But Cam Taylor Britt, that was a guy who I predicted myself. Happy to say that he fit as well as I could have asked him to. And then again, Zach Carter is super, super versatile. I think he should fit best as an edge, and he's going to be a really fun guy to just mess around with. The rest are going to be more so of those gadget players. So that is going to be that. Let's dive right into the roster. Okay, so per usual, Sport Track is a pain in the ass. We'll actually start at the quarterbacks this time. Of course, if you guys watched the Steelers video, you guys realize that I kind of went more sequentially rather than by position group. But Joe Burrow, obviously, he is the man. Joe Shiesty, the guy has ice in his veins. Guy is an absolute badass. I remember, obviously, Joe Burrow was a guy who really got me watching college football day in and day out. So I tip the cap to Joe Burrow. Guy's a really, really good, talented player, and people are saying he's like the best quarterback in the NFL. I know that's probably some of you Bengals fans. I'm not going to go there yet, but he shows a ton of promise, and I really hope he repeats what he did last year, because he definitely belongs in that elite echelon. Guy was talented in college. He's been really, really good now. It just shows that he was able to work from pretty much nothing, like third string quarterback in Ohio State, goes to LSU and is able to end up being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, being better than all the guys he was behind there. Big fan of him, right? Look at the running back group. Joe Mixon. It's Joe Mixon. He's a talented ass running back. I would say the guys behind him, I'm a little bit more worried about. I do like Puka Williams a lot. I was actually a really big fan of Puka Williams when he was coming out of the draft. Did think that he was a very talented running back. Travion Williams is another really fun one. But, you got Chris Evans here, who, he was a pretty talented kind of scat back out of Michigan. Samaje Perine, kind of like your hard-nosed guy. These guys are backup running backs, so I don't really see much of an assistant back to Joe Mixon. It's more so guys who are like, oh, you really need somebody to fill in for a player too, so Joe catches his breath. And it doesn't really feel like a 1-2 punch. It feels more like this is kind of just making sure our number one guy is good enough. So a little bit bummed out about that, because I really do think Joe Mixon should last a lot longer than I hope that. Right now on his trek, he's not looking too good, given the fact that injuries have popped up, as well as his usage, given the fact that there's not enough really solid talent behind him. Again, running backs, we all know their shelf life is really short, and talented backs like Joe Mixon, I just hope to be able to last longer. And that's why I like that 1-2 punch, those RBBCs, because it allows those running backs to be able to survive a lot longer. Because again, these guys are human beings. I want them to get their money. And it's also fun to watch good players continue to play. So Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins might be the best trio in the NFL. Don't at me. And that's coming from a Steelers fan. So these guys are absolutely phenomenal. Here's my problem. We go past that. You got Trent Taylor here. I mean, I'm not seeing anybody like, God forbid one of these guys has a season-ending injury. The talent level just completely drops off a cliff on this receiving core. It's kind of the opposite of the Steelers. Steelers have a lot of really good talent, but not elite. The Bengals have like a select group of elite talent and not really a lot of good talent in that receiving core. So that's a little bit sus, to just put it in a weird way. But honestly, when you look at it, you just have to be on a wing and a prayer that these guys are going to survive the entire season. Again, we do these records predictions without projecting injury, because again, that's not really fair. And it's like, speaking in gaming terms, it's too much RNG. So that's definitely not something that I'm going to do. Tight end group, I still think this group's a little bit Thaddeus Moss, I like that you guys brought him on. I thought that he was honestly very underrated and very underutilized. Drew Sample, we all know that he was an overdraft when he was drafted, I believe, in the second round a couple years ago. That kind of sucks, but he is talented enough. Hayden Hurst was a good pickup. He's a very solid receiving tight end. I'm still thinking maybe you guys could have picked up a solid tight end in the draft. That being said, this coming up year has a lot of really, really good talented tight ends. So good for you guys on that front. Let's look at the tackles here. You got Jonah Williams, as well as, where's he at? Where's our right tackle? Lyle Collins over here. Those are going to be your two bookend tackles, both very talented players, especially if Jonah could stay healthy. Lyle Collins was a big plus for me. I love Lyle Collins. Big fan of him. Again, Jackson Carman going to be probably playing more of a guard role. He had those 31-inch arms, so I think that's his best role. He has that versatility. Same thing with Deontay Smith. I thought Deontay Smith was a stud as a guard over in the Senior Bowl. That's where I fell in love with him. So really do like the potential for not just backups, but for potential starters in that tackle group right there, especially at positions where, they might not actually play. Isaiah Prince, he's not that great. Cordell Volson, I think he was drafted a lot higher than I was expecting, but another guy who's talented enough for sure. Let's look at the guards. Let's look at the interior. You got Alex Kappa here. You brought him in. And then I really do think, I don't think Lamont Gaylord's going to be playing anytime soon, but I do think that one of those two guys, Carman or Deontay Smith, are going to be playing the full-time guard spot across from Alex Kappa. And of course, at center, you got Ted Karras come here across. He could play guard as well. He played left guard last year for the Patriots. Trey Hill, again, a guy who I'm holding hope out for. I do think he could definitely step up and be a kick-ass center. I was hoping for Tyler Linderbaum to come in, and of course, he was sniped by your own division rivals, which hurts me inside. So let's go to the defensive front. You got DJ Reader here, BJ Hill, again, talented, like a really solid interior. You look at all these guys, I think lost, am I bugging? Larry Ogunjobi? I'm tripping, aren't I? You guys lost Larry Ogunjobi. You kept BJ Hill, that's why. Okay, so I was not tripping. So DJ Reader, BJ Hill, obviously losing Larry O kind of sucks, but you do have a lot of talented interior linemen here. You even have Mike Daniels up in the house, man. Tyler Shelvin, big ass dude, can plug the center. Cam Sample, really talented tweener. So, you have the talent on the interior. Like, again, this almost feels like the Steelers' version of their wide receiver core in defensive tackle terms. Like, there's just a lot of really talented dudes. DJ Reader, much more talented than, I guess he could be on like that Deontay Johnson wide receiver level if we're going to be making that comparison. But just a lot of really good dudes. Nothing that's going to stand out except DJ Reader, but a lot of really good impact players. Defensive end wise, because you can actually call them defensive ends. Trey Henderson, Sam Hubbard, Zach Carter, yes. Again, very, very Steelers wide receiver-y. Like, none of these guys are going to be a top 3, top 5, top 10 edge rusher. Some people might say Trey Hendrickson could be in that category. I'm not going to argue with you guys right now. I don't think he's there, but I do think as a unit, they could certainly, this is a formidable front. And this is why they made it to the Super Bowl, because It's almost like a money ball way of looking at defensive line. These guys were good enough and they had enough cohesion to be able to make a big impact. Zach Carter's going to be kicking ass. Like him as a third defensive end, he's just so large. He's 285, 290 pounds of pure muscle. Dude has a lot of juice as well. Like that was one of my biggest, like he was one of the guys I'm like, yeah, this guy needs to be defensive end. He was being used as a D tackle and he just sucks there because he's 285 pounds. And just tackles can't handle guys who are almost as heavy as them, who are faster. And I think Zach Carter could really just totally take it off. Jeff Gunter as well, very talented player. Khalid Kareem's in there, White Hoover. Obviously, these guys, even Noah Spence, all these guys actually could make a difference. So big fan of how that is rolling for y'all. Linebacker wise, I mean, you have a lot of guys who I don't really think are that great. You know, Joseph Tsai, I think that he probably is going to be more of the edge rusher role. I was a big fan of Osai. Logan Wilson, again, kind of just talented enough. Keem Davis Gaither, I'm pretty sure he's really light as well. You know, Jermaine Pratt, like none of these guys are really like giving me a starter. Like day one, you go on this guy to be your linebacker one type of vibe, except Logan Wilson, maybe. I was just hoping you guys would try to upgrade because this draft class was freaking insane. And I'm looking through right now and I'm not getting comfortable. Like this draft class of 2022 was super loaded. And you had time after time that you could have selected someone like Leo Chanel to be a true linebacker one. Did not do that. And that kind of hurt me inside because I really did love those type of guys. And this coming up draft 2023 is absolute cheeks. So you better pray that these guys take that step up or that the positional value really is as low as it needs to be for this team to remain competitive at that position. Let's check out, I think safeties for some random, Sport Track needs to get their head and ass wired together. But you have Von Bell here, Jesse Bates, Dax Hill. Again, this is going to be like the real safety squad up in the house. It's a good group. Jesse Bates, heavily underrated. I don't know why people think that. Like some people just think he's chop liver, and I don't get it. But the guy's super talented. Is he going to be a top 2 safety in the NFL? I don't think so. But I mean, the guy's a freaking baller. And Dax Hill, I hope to God he remains as a safety, and I hope that he finds his role here because really talented player. He graded out as a first rounder to me, so people thought I was hating on him. It's just like, I'm not that franchise guy grabbing like a top 10 selection on the dude. Michael Thomas as well. Don't know what's up with that. But let's end off with the corners here. Mike Hilton, you know, obviously Steelers fan. Hurts a little bit to see him go there, but really talented player. Big fan of him. Same thing with Cheeto, Cam, Taylor, Britt. This corner core is definitely good enough. But I'm looking at the depth. You got Eli Apple, who got torn apart because he just opened his mouth. Like, again, if he didn't say anything, no one would be talking about him. And then, of course, there's that like annoying lady on Twitter who always loves to make these very funny references, but whatever. Eli Apple, he's good depth. You know, again, the money kind of reflects that. You just don't really have much after that. And that's a very high injury potential. I actually like Radley Hiles. Is a good slot corner from, I think he's from Washington. Yeah. He's pretty good. So he caught my eyes. He's just a bit older, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, we're getting right into here. But screw Brandon Radley Hiles. We're going to go right into the season. Let's rock it. Week 1, we already decided this. Yes, this is cumulative. So, of course, if your teams are last, that's going to kind of suck. But honestly, we have the ability to change things in this because sometimes, hey, I forget about a small acquisition that might change the tide. But let's get right into it. Week 2, Bengals, Cowboys. Again, you just came off a victory, but I will say we all know how hot Dallas gets at the start of the season. It happens every year. You know, Stephen A. Smith's going to joke about it. They're going to burn out by November. That's the thing. But there's also the other side of that is that they start out really hot, and Dallas is going to be coming for some vengeance. They want to be able to win their division and just continue being Dallas. So I do think that that's going to be the thing. Everybody's going to laugh at that because they're going to say Trayvon Diggs is going to allow 1 billion yards. I just think that Dallas starts out really hot, and that's the way that they're going to maintain. So I think a very hot start is a good way to get the ball rolling for the Cowboys. Of course, when you go to New York, the Jets have a potential chance to actually make a difference. I just don't believe in them more than a team that, honestly, besides linebackers, is pretty freaking good. So I do think that the Bengals are going to be able to kick ass right there. Dolphins are going to Cincinnati. Wow. I keep wanting to say Miami, but obviously Miami Dolphins. But if they were to go to Miami, I think I might choose the Dolphins. Again, Miami is just a different environment. And, again, this team is far superior to Miami in almost every single way. Good safety help is able to take advantage of the potential miscues of Tua and Tyreek Hill. So I think that's where I would lean with there. We know this division rivalries usually, if their teams are pretty evenly matched, I will usually go with the home squad. That's just the way it rolls. Bengals going to New Orleans. I just do not have faith in New Orleans overall. I'm just not that high on them. And I love Jabu Winston. I just really do think that you're going to need just a bit more. And losing Teron Armstead's a huge loss to me. I was not a fan of, wow, I just tripped up Trevor Penning. There we go. So overall, just not a very big fan of the Saints at the moment. You lost probably the most valuable player on your team. Week 7. Again, we're still in mock draft mode. I keep want to say number 7. Week 7. I'm going to be going the Bengals here. Obviously, I don't know if the Falcons are going to make it out with a victory, maybe against the Saints at home. Week 8, jeepers. We have the Bengals going to the Browns. Again, we're assuming a Deshaun Watson 1-year ban here. That's just, honestly, it's pretty safe to assume given the fact that, evidence is pretty heavily stacked against Deshaun, and not saying he's going to get indicted or anything, because obviously that all dropped out. But in the vision of the NFL, that usually just means that they're going to suspend you for a year while they do their own research. So I'm going to go the Bengals there as well. I just think the Browns are going to take a total crap year. Even with Baker Mayfield, I would still go with the Bengals. With the Panthers here, again, I really don't have faith in them. You don't have a quarterback, and I don't believe that Matt is going to be able to start week 9 versus a Super Bowl caliber team and just win. The Titans. So this is where, you're rested. You just came off a victory against the Steelers, but those are usually brutal victories, and you still have Derrick Henry around. So for me, I'm going to be sticking to the Tennessee Titans taking a dub here. Again, the Bengals obviously upset Tennessee last year. We got some vengeance coming back for them. Chiefs and Bengals. That is a fun one. That's going to be a good one. I think the Chiefs actually might squeeze out an upset here. Some people might not call it an upset, but I'm going to call it an upset. They're going to squeeze out an upset right there. Browns, Bengals. Again, I'm just really down on the Browns this year. We'll check it out, but if you're, again, quarterback is just so, it's so heavily weighted. And if you don't have Deshaun Watson, if Deshaun comes out and is actually able to play, no consequence at all, this whole entire board is going to totally shift. But again, that's what our assumption is at the moment. Tampa Bay, you're going down to Florida. I think that Florida is, again, a unique environment, and Tom Brady is kick-ass. So I think that the Buccaneers have a chance. Week 16, did it again. You're going up to Foxborough, but again, this is in the winter. I will have to say that this is in the winter, but it's not like Cincinnati doesn't have a crap winter either. And we saw that Joe Burrow was able to play through that and still whoop. So we're going to go with the Bengals taking a W there. We're going to have a more high-powered team in the Bills coming back to beat the Bengals. And then last but not least, you guys know the drill. When it's week 18 and it's a team that is in the same division that you're playing against, and they are just about equal in talent, I'm going to go with the home team to take the W. What does that leave us at? 11-6. You damn well know that's going to be making the playoffs. So right now, if you guys want a quick little recap, it's 9-8 to the Steelers, 11-6 to the Bengals. This division is just usually so evenly split. Again, this team's just really, apart from linebackers, built extremely well. So they just have an unfair advantage. Let me know what you guys think. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.